This is unlike any other videos that we have made so far, and you will soon know the reason. Recently, a lot of videos have come up stating the disconnect between North and South India. People aren't able to communicate properly with each other and also aren't able to exchange cultures properly while having the similar backgrounds, similar deities, similar gods, and types of worships that we do. Now, I'll tell you a story through which I'll convey this message. The story is of struggle and connection. So let's get into that. Once upon a time, there lived a young man named Akio. Akio was born and brought up in a land far away from his ancestral home. His grandparents had moved there in order to find better prospects for their future. However, Akio had heard stories about his ancestral homeland, about their culture, their festivals, the ways of living, and so on. So, since the young age, Akio was quite excited to learn about ancestral homeland and reconnect with it. It was as if he was born and brought up there. One summer, he got an opportunity to visit that place. So, he boarded the train and started his journey. After several hours of his journey, Akio reached the destination. As soon as he got off the train, he was mesmerized by the landscape and people around him. However, that is when his struggles begin. As soon as he got off the train, he started to hear the voices which were unfamiliar, the characters, the alphabets, the letters, the sounds which were never heard by Akio. His excitement started to get converted into a little bit of anxiety. However, he mustered up his courage and went on and found a hotel to stay at. Now remember, Akio was there just for a few days, a couple of weeks to be exact. He thought to himself that he will soon find someone he can communicate with who will understand him and will navigate him through his quest and help him to connect with the culture and people over there. The hours turned to days and days to nights, and Akio was finding it more and more difficult to even navigate through simple tasks as asking for directions or ordering food and incorporating himself with the culture, learning about the ways of life and asking about lifestyle was far ahead. This started to make him more anxious than excited. As the days passed by, his hopes were drying out. So he thought to himself after a few days that instead of staying there for a couple of weeks, he would cut short that particular trip and go back within a week. There was no one to talk to, and he was feeling alone in the place where he was supposed to feel at home. Then something interesting happened. On the sixth day, Akio went out of the hotel to breathe in some fresh air. During that time, he heard some familiar sounds. The sounds, the words, in the language which he could understand. he started looking around for the source and soon came across a young man just like him. But that man was native and he knew both the languages, that is, the English which Akio spoke and the other language which was of the ancestral homeland. That young man understood the struggles faced by Akio and agreed to help him to learn about the culture, ways of life and various festivals and different things from that land. Soon those dried out hopes began to revive. Akio started to learn about various ways of life and again his dream to connect with this place and to feel at home began to revive. Eventually, Akio even started to pick up on words which were spoken in those places. Simple phrases, simple words, the ways of communication for asking for direction and various aspects of culture. Akio learned them all. And this turned his trip around. Akio stayed there for 1 more month and learned and connected with everyone and everything he ever wished to. Now, since there was this young man who helped Akio, who knew the language that Akio spoke as well as the language which was spoken by the natives, there was hope, there was help, there was a link between the two people, and ultimately they were able to link their cultures and ways of life. When we talk about India, in North India most of the people speak Hindi, but when we visit South India, and this is based on my personal experiences, if you don't know the language it becomes quite difficult to navigate through various day-to-day tasks. If you are staying there for longer duration, you should learn their language to understand their culture and incorporate yourself into it while also maintaining your own. However, if you are visiting there for just a week or two for tourism, it becomes very crucial to have a linking language which can connect people within the same country who have different cultures and different backgrounds and different languages. Now, since we are all agreeing to decolonize India, English is the language of the colonials. I have to speak in English so that I can get the message across throughout the world about the freedom fighters of India. But when I have to navigate through various places within India, it is better to have a same language, a national language if you will, which can be either Hindi or Sanskrit. You can choose. If you like this and if you agree with me, do share this message across. Until next time, Jai Hind.